Now, what is it about software engineers that drives people to violence?
I don't like software which anticipates needs I don't have. The sort of spell checker thing which corrects your spell which you didn't want spelled. I've got RSI now from correcting the corrections on my phone.
If I want to type the C word, and I do sometimes, it comes up with Cynthia, and that's my mother-in-law's name. And she's lovely. It seems so unfair.
Let's hope it doesn't work the other way round.
Unfortunately, in the original Greek, it is Kunthia. Is it? There is no letter Y in Greek. It's an upsilon.
That's alarming.
It is Kunthia. Yeah. I'm going back to the very first software engineer that ever was.
Babbage.
Well, Babbage owed an enormous debt to this person.
Ada Lovelace.
Ada Lovelace also owed a debt to this person. Ada Lovelace wanted to use the... You've done very well. Ada Lovelace was the daughter of...
Mr. Software.
So disappointing.
Because, you have a Mr. Baker, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Mr. Butcher.
Old Jeremiah Software.
But it's so much more interesting that she happened to be the daughter of Lord Byron, and she was one of the great mathematicians of her age. And she was a woman we should celebrate. And she was a colleague, as you say, of Charles Babbage. And they had got their difference engine, and they wanted to steal the idea of a Frenchman who'd come up with the idea. It's a software idea. It was for automating something. As a little boy, he used to sit on a particular type of machine and watch it working and thinking, I could make this better. And he invented a punch card system for it. And he has... its name is...
It's not those pianos that play themselves.
No, pianolas use the same system, but this is before that. It's much more useful because it made something everybody in the world wanted to buy, which is clothes and textiles.
Oh, is it for, like, a pattern on the cloth?
A loom. Right. It's a loom, and it's a particular kind of loom. Jacquard is the name. Joseph Marie Jacquard. And he was an extraordinary man, born in 1752. And these looms were used right up until our lifetimes. There you are.
Look at that.
That's what he invented. Now, you look at those punch cards, you think, now, what can that do? Babbage correctly saw this couldn't just make a loom and a tapestry and a picture, but it could also possibly do calculations and other such things that mathematicians were interested in. And so we have a portrait of Jacquard himself, which is done in woven silk using a Jacquard loom. That is done by punched cards. Isn't that astonishing? The depth, the tone, look at the knees there, the way the cloth is. I mean,
looks almost like a photograph.
It almost looks like a photograph.
You think you'd be happier, wouldn't you?
Well, that's true. Smiling in photographs is a very recent thing.
Oh, really?
It was never considered normal. It was considered weird to smile. But the question was, why did he drive people to violence?
Oh, because he... Was it like Luddites? Did they come and smash his machinery?
They did, because it took so much work away from
the shoe throwers, the saboteurs.
And what's the French for a wooden shoe?
A sabot.
A sabot is a clog, and they would throw their clogs into the looms to break them up. And a sabot was known as sabotage, and that's where we get our word sabotage. They would sabotage his machines. And actually, Luddites in Britain were nothing like as violent as the saboteurs of France in Lyon and places like that.
Different footwear, I suppose.
Different footwear.
You do more with a clog, can't you, than a conventional shoe?
We had an outbreak of it in my parish.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's a shoe area, so when the automation of the shoe trade came in, there was a bit of smashing up of machines.
That's a nightmare, though, because if the people are destroying the machines with shoes, if the machine's still going, they're just making ammunition. Their own destruction.
I don't think they use shoes.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Just
as they come out, chuck them back at the machine.
You don't have to use shoes to make a machine break. It just the French wore wooden clogs and those sabots. But it is fascinating, isn't it, to think...
Where would we be without trees?
Well, so true. Chainsaws originally invented for?
Proctology.
Wow. That's scary.
Yeah, that's a...
Slicing an arse in half.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you're in the right area, I have to say.
What?
I mean,
Really?
circumcision.
What I mean is,
you began straight away with medicine. You didn't say trees or, you know, cutting down
cutting off legs.
buildings.
Bones and
Bones is the right answer. Yes, in particular, it was a rather unpleasant procedure.
Oh, don't. It'll be a boy thing against a girl thing. It
Well,
will
not
be.
against, you know.
Well, no,
It's doctors trying to help.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. It'll be a boy thinking a woman's taking far too long over labour, going, oh, I can't stand all that panting. I know, we'll get a chainsaw and just cut that baby out. That's what it is.
You know, you're absolutely right. It was in 1783.
That's no excuse.
It was two Scots doctors called John Aitken and James Jaffrey, and it was called a symphysiotomy, and it was a procedure to widen the pelvis if the baby's head was too large to pass through.
Oh, can you hear the high tone of all those sighs?
What I like about this picture...
It's a bit eye-watering.
It's a ladies' ward, so of course there is some baking going on
Yes.
on the left. Cake display cakes.
And I tell you,
Buns in the oven, Stephen. You see what I did?
they didn't really, darling.
I'm afraid they did. When I say chainsaw, it was literally a chain. It was like a watch chain, in fact. Right. It was like an up and down.
lumberjack giving it... It's a boy!
They hadn't yet invented the internal combustion engine.
And caesarean sections.
Caesarean sections have replaced the same idea. Yes, quite, exactly. It's a bit of a relief.
To do the caesarean section, I think. Sawing the pelvic bone in half is not as easy as maybe just a small incision. And
I know, you'd have thought they would have
pop
made
it out
up
the sunroof.
But this was before antiseptic. It was before antiseptic surgery, and of course it was before any kind of anaesthetic.
They're not a meeting. You know what I mean? There's not a meeting where someone goes, I've got it. And they go, what? They go, chainsaw, innit?
Well, they looked at a watch chain and they said, you know, if we could sort of ease away the bone like that, rather than using a saw. I know, everyone's wincing.
Have we got another question that isn't about that?
Would it heal? Presumably not very well.
Well, they then went on to use the same thing. For example, if someone had a bit of diseased bone, they would do the same thing. They would sort of tick it in, they'd go up and down like that, and then they'd do it lower down, and the two bits would fuse together and have a stiff arm. But it would get rid of the diseased bone. It was called an osteotome. It eventually became like a chainsaw. You can see one here. That is more like a chainsaw. Pretty unpleasant.
You don't want that coming at you.
You really don't. You really, really don't.
I remember my wife had a baby, I remember it well. And, yeah, it's a grand day. It was a grand day. But when she had a baby, and there's a point where you go in to see the fella who's going to sort it out on the day. That's him, yeah. He's got an official title. And you go in to see him, and as the husband, he says, right, you sit there on a chair, and then he pulls the curtain across. Yes. While him and your wife are in this thing, while he has a little dabble or whatever he's doing.
It's a bit intimate, isn't it?
It's a bit like you go, I've seen it, mate. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing... This is why we're here.
Well, you don't look when that happens, though, do you, at the moment of conception? Do you actually have a look? You're looking into... Surely. Sorry.
Stephen doesn't need to know, Jason. He doesn't need to know.
You're gazing lovingly into her eyes.
Gazing lovingly at the Born Identity, which is still on the television. As you reach for your drink.
What do you think, darling, that he's got a periscope at the moment?
I'm sorry.
I don't know why you and I are having this conversation.
After the invention of the internal combustion engine, where we were getting Jeremy to his home territory now, eventually by 1920 they were small enough to be able to have a hand-powered
cut down trees.
And then they cut down trees, exactly. Well, anyway, there you are. Chainsaws were originally invented for midwives.
Describe the rules on a pirate ship. Rules? Yeah. What sort of rules would they have?
Obviously, they've got a captain.
Yes.
So he's in charge. So I imagine he gets most of the gold and whatever they find.
Well, oddly enough, now, they had two senior officers, the captain and the quartermaster. And the captain could be vetoed by the quartermaster on all matters except battle, except rules of engagement when fighting. And they had strong laws. And the quartermaster was, he was about how much they divvied out, including he decided how much the captain got. The captain had no special quarters. He didn't have a, wonderful room such as you imagine in movies. So it's not exactly hierarchical. It's kind of a rule of two, the quartermaster and the captain. Otherwise, it was more or less a democracy in a strange sort of way, but with strict rules. For example, in Captain Bartholomew Roberts' ship, the Fortune, there was no gambling. It was like a boarding school. No smuggling girls into the dorm. No playing music on a Sunday. And lights out at 8 o'clock sharp in the evening.
It's rubbish being a pirate.
I know. It's not quite what you imagine.
My dad, the captain. That's rubbish.
Where are you going to smuggle these girls from, anyway?
That's true.
You rescue one from the sea. No.
When it came to women aboard, the articles of Captain George Lowther, who was a famous pirate of his day, said, if at any time you meet with a prudent woman, that man that offers to meddle with her, without her consent, shall suffer present death. So meddling with a prudent woman without her consent got you death. So they really were very strict with each other.
So meddling was rape, really?
I think essentially we're talking
that
about rape.
Lost its meaning by the time Scooby-Doo came
exactly. Why, you pesky kids haven't meddled?
Notorious gang rapists.
That's just terrible. I'm ashamed of you.
Why is the pirate voice similar to the farmer's voice? Why? Is there something... Arr! Get off my land! There's
one man responsible.
Right.
Do you know who it is?
It'll be a film actor.
Yes.
Oh, OK.
Treasure Island.
He played in a great performance of Treasure Island. And in fact, Tony Hancock, the great comedian, he first started out as an impersonator of this actor.
Lawton?
No, not quite as well known as Lawton. In his own day, he was very, very well known, but now less well known.
Anybody?
Someone we've mentioned on QI before.
Hang on a minute.
The chances of Alan remembering it are...
Someone in the front row saying, you've done this! This was on Dave on Tuesday. New facts.
Yeah, well, it was Robert Newton, anyway.
Robert Newton.
Thank you, yes.
Robert Newton.
Robert Newton is the right answer, but it doesn't count because we've had it before. There we are.
Prowse almost did that, didn't he, to Darth Vader? He has a West Country accent, didn't he?
Yes,
and he famously thought that he was going to be used, didn't he?
Yes.
With his West Country accent, he got redone.
I am your father.
Very upset.
I'm your father, and I'm your brother as well.
Darth Vader on a big tractor. Yeah. Trundling down the corridors of the Death Star, chewing a bit of straw. Darth. Mr. Darth to you.
Mr. Darth. It's, yeah, anyway.
You know the skull and crossbone flag?
Yes.
Do they really have that? Because, I mean, that's really giving it away,
we
isn't
definitely
it?
covered that in the last
Oh,
series.
really? I must have missed that.
Alan will tell you all about it.
Go on.
Jolly Roger.
Well, yeah, everyone knows it's called What is that, a proposition? Maybe later, Alan.
It's been 10 years, Stephen, and I've finally come round to it. It's time for a Jolly Roger.
All right, now, I have a dubious theory about Alice in Wonderland for you, if you're quite interested.
A dubious theory from Stephen Fry.
Yes. Alice in Wonderland isn't a wildly imaginative children's fantasy after all. It's a bitter, satirical attack on Victorian mathematics. Dubious or not, visit aliceschmalice.co.uk to review the evidence and decide for yourself.
A dubious theory from Stephen Fry.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
It's an interesting theory, and there's a book written about it. The fact is, as you know, Alice in Wonderland was written by...
Lewis Carroll.
Who was, in real life...
A dog. Charles Dodge.
A dog? It's so right, the last letter was wrong.
It was a don.
A don.
A don.
Yeah. Don, that's what he meant. In other words, he was a fellow of an...
Autocorrect, damn you, autocorrect.
He was a mathematician at Oxford.
Ah.
And he was a very conservative, classical mathematician who believed in Euclidean geometry and things like that. And there was a new world coming into maths that would resolve in David Hilbert's famous questions and the
Poincaré conjecture and Riemann's hypothesis and all the things that Alan Turing and later mathematicians
The invention of
devoted
number
themselves.
9, of course.
The invention
very,
of number...
very controversial. I've never taken to it myself.
Squeezed it in between 7 and 10 and 8 and 10.
Yeah.
In fact.
Eight came even later.
Eight came later.
They needed it for the war.
That's right. So weird. They needed it for bingo, I think. No, but the fact is, he didn't like the way that maths was becoming so extraordinarily abstract and pure, and less to do with either symbolic logic, which was his particular subject, or, as I say, the beauty of plain geometry, which he loved. And so this particular author, Melanie Bailey, argues that the scenes, particularly the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, the encounter with the hookah-smoking caterpillar, and the meeting with the Duchess, whose baby turns into a pig, all that sort of absolute nonsense, he thought typified modern mathematics. And most of all, he added in the later story, the Cheshire Cat, who disappears leaving only a grin. It's a humorous way of making a serious point about the futility of abstraction. How can a cat leave a grin behind? The cat was brilliantly played in the Tim Burton film by who did the voice of the cat? It was superb. Oh, God.
Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie, that's it. That's it. I knew it was someone good. -2,000 points. Anyway, Melanie Bailey, the author of this book, reminds us that his other works are painfully dull and moralistic, or very technical works. In fact, Queen Victoria read Alice and loved it so much and said, "I do hope, Dr. Dodgson, that you will dedicate your next book to me." So he wrote a book called something like Problems in Symbolic Logic. to her Majesty Queen Victoria. You must have read it and thought, what the fuck is this?
Queen Victoria bumper book of boring math. Happy Christmas, Your
Anyway,
Majesty.
she says, this lady Melanie Bailey, that Dodgson was most witty when he was poking fun at something, and only then when the subject matter truly got him riled. Whereas we think of him as just an absurdist, a kind of surrealist, as a nonsense, a master of nonsense. Anyway, it's nice to have dubious theories on our J series, and that's one of them. Do you know the capital of Alaska?
Yes, you just said it.
Exactly, thank you. Very good. Juneau is the capital of Alaska. Juneau. Juneau. But there's something unique about it.
It rains all the bloody time, I know that.
Well, it's not accessible by road. You can only get there by air or water. There is no road to Juneau.
Sarah Palin can get there by walking on the water.
Well. And can you tell me the biggest joke ever to come out of Alaska?
Sarah Palin, who can walk on
We're not forfeiting you that. It was so obvious.
Oh,
we weren't even going to forfeit it.
If I had forfeited, I would have repudiated.
We would have repudiated. Anyway, the point is, there is actually a famous practical joke, an April Fool's joke that came out of Alaska. It took a lot of preparation and it was rather extraordinary. We'll show you a photograph that might give you a hint. I mean, it's not really going to be easy, but what's in the background there?
This is a volcano-based practical
joke,
and it's one that I read about it, and it very much impressed me because if you do a practical joke, which is, cling film over the toilet, something simple.
Yeah.
The person who did this practical joke... It's a good one. It doesn't work for women necessarily, because we tend to notice when we sit down that there's some... But for men, I tell you, it's a hoot. There was a volcano... and a gentleman, I can't remember his name, I apologise, decided to try and make it seem as if it was erupting, so took loads of tyres and set fire to it, and then everyone came out of their houses and went, "The volcano's erupting." Because it was
absolutely
so good.
right. He waited 3 years till there was a clear April the 1st. He took kerosene and smoke bombs and tyres, and he dropped them down the crater and set fire to it. But in 50-foot letters, he did say, "April Fool," and he warned the federal authority. He called them up, but he forgot to call the Coast Guard, who did panic a bit. But it was, fortunately, all taken in the right spirit. And his name is Porky Bickar.
Porky?
Porky. That was his nickname. Porky. He was American, so he was called Porky. Porky Bickar. And that is, aside from Sarah Palin, the greatest joke ever to come out of Alaska.
It is a good one.
I have to say, I am very impressed, again, with your knowledge. Which reality TV format was invented by Charlemagne's father?
There's a picture of Charlemagne.
Big Brother?
It's not as well as Big Brother.
All
I will
right.
give you a clue.
Celebrity Big Brother?
On Channel 5. I'm a king, get me out of here.
That'll cover it. I can tell you it was presented by Dale Winton.
Supermarket Sweep?
No,
Total Wipeout? What else has he done?
Oh, yeah, you're pretty good. You're good.
Yeah, I know the workings
Big
of...
fan.
Yeah. You're good on Dale.
Yeah.
You probably don't know who Dale Winton is, do you?
Chap or lady?
Audience, He's a very charming gentleman, Mr. Winton. Well turned out, crisply well turned out gentleman. Very nice man.
Who was his father then?
Well, Charlemagne's father is a good question. You're unlikely to have heard of him. I'd be very impressed if you have heard of him. He was Count Pepin the Short, unfortunately. But if you go back to... This is even pre-medieval. This is Dark Ages. If you go back to that time, justice was meted out in all kinds of odd ways. And one of the odd ways, it was a system of testing, which was called an ordeal.
An ordeal.
Ordeal. There were various kinds of ordeal.
So it's ordeal or no ordeal?
Oh, no. If only with Noel Edmonds we were talking about, then that would do it.
Is he a lady or a man?
Is Noel Edmonds... Well, ordeals. This particular ordeal involved... two people had a quarrel, and they both had to make the shape of a cross, see? And stay there. I don't know what that's about.
Someone said he's got a small penis.
Are you a real doctor?
It was called Judicium Crucis, the justice of the cross in Latin. And basically, it's a bit like those school punishments where they make you do that, if you ever did that. The one who just dropped his hands first was wrong. And it happened to the Archbishop of Paris with the abbot of Saint-Denis. Only they would use champions to do it for them. So they would say, you on my behalf, stand for as long as you can in the cross. And in this case, the Archbishop of Paris won.
It's a pity you have to nominate someone, because if you didn't, you could just pick on old people, couldn't you, in those days, did you know that?
You could have ordeals by tickling. They genuinely had all kinds of ordeals. Ordeals by water, ordeals by fire, and so on. But there is a car game.
Is it that one where you've got to keep your hand on the car?
Yeah!
Yeah, and then the last one wins it.
You see?
Yeah.
You do know it.
Oh, yes, I do.
Dale Winton presented, I think on Channel 5, an endurance game show based on a Japanese original called Touch the Truck. That's Dale there.
I'd love to watch that. Just loads of people touching a car and then that's it.
Yeah.
For an hour.
For an hour? 81 hours. It's
well,
because
I'd Sky Plus it and fast forward through it.
It's basically the last one to give up on touching the truck.
But it doesn't do anything, you just stand there.
No, you have to
with
touch
your hand.
Yeah, it's going 80 mile an hour. That's a game show.
You were allowed you were allowed a 10-minute break every 2 hours and 15 minutes every 6 hours.
This is made up, isn't it? No one would...
If you fell asleep, you were disqualified, so you had to stay awake. You couldn't just lie on the car with your hand on it. So you had to be consciously touching it. And the idea was the last person left touching it won it. And the winner, you probably want to know all about him, I expect. He won the truck, obviously, and he sold it. In order to raise funds to stand as a political...
Arm surgery.
No. To stand as a political candidate. He stood for Kingston and Surbiton at the 2001 general election. There was a turnout of 49,093 people, and he secured 54 votes.
Wow. We do it in New Zealand. It's a radio show contest. It quite often happens. Yeah, we're probably the last country still doing it. It's the only way you can get your cars back in New Zealand.
Doing it on radio sounds even weirder to me, I have to say.
They're still touching it? They're still touching it?
Do you have to drop
Still touching it?
No, they interview the people who are touching the car. So
Right.
I've got John here. How's it going? Ah, good. I'm still touching it. You know. How many hours now? 7.
Anyway, that's it. That's basically a game show inspired by a Dark Ages... endurance test, yeah. Extraordinary, isn't it? What is Australia's deadliest creature, in fact?
Oh.
Yeah.
Rupert Murdoch.
Good answer. After Rupert Murdoch.
So sorry about the fact he came here.
Yeah, excluding a member of the human race, which I'm not sure whether that does or not, but anyway...
Is it the spiders, the funnel web, the red...
It's going to be something on the road, isn't it?
It's the box jellyfish.
No, it's not. That is a nasty creature.
Is it people? Is it rabbits? Is it rabbits running in front of utes or some sort of...
You're certainly right that most of the deaths caused by animals in Australia are caused on the road, but the animal that is most responsible...
Crocodile?
Is it man? The most deadly of all
Snake.
Shark?
No.
Can you say that? I'm not born there.
It's not a bit of cat, though. In the year under the sample year we're taking, one human being in Australia was killed by a cat that year. But 128...
A cunning plan executed skillfully and quietly. Is it?
It's the road. The road's involved.
Often the road.
Are the people in the car at the time?
Sometimes, yes, but sometimes they're on the animal involved.
They're on the horse.
That's a horse, yes. A horse. More people are killed by horses than... It's a very angry horse there.
That one needs a dental hygiene appointment ASAP.
It seriously does. Yeah, because they fall off and break their neck, or indeed they cause car crashes and so on. And horses kill 3 times more than the ones you've mentioned.
When we lived in Australia, my wife bought a horse, and she's desperate to try and get me to ride, right? So she said, I bought this horse, it's really docile, you'll be fine. So I got... Well, no, there was actually... The problem was it was too docile. What happened was it ended up being studied by Melbourne University because it was one of the few horses that was... medically got narcolepsy. So I swear to God, it's one of the rare cases of a narcoleptic horse. So she buys this horse, and she said she couldn't work out why every time when she was grooming it, it would get heavier. Like that. And so she couldn't groom it because it would fall on her. So she says to me, "It's fine. The horse is narcoleptic. Get on it." And so I got on it in full motorbike gear because I wasn't taking any chances. I sat on this horse and it started to just... And you know, normally you kick a horse to make it go. This one, he kicked it and it would go, what? Hey? Like that. to make it up. And sometimes it would fall asleep against the electric fence. So it would go like that. Hey! Hey! It's like Jack Douglas from the Carry On.
Oh, well, that's my kind of horse, frankly. Yeah. But it is the horse, anyway, that turns out to be the deadliest animal. Can you remember who wrote the first dictionary in English?
Oh, yes. Johnson.
Samuel Johnson.
Samuel Johnson? Oh, it wasn't Samuel Johnson. I led you down the garden path.
Baldrick.
Banked you, Baldrick.
B.
Probably a B, yes.
Very good. We're going to have to write the whole dictionary tonight.
Dr. Johnson's dictionary, which was written in the earlier part of the 18th century, was preceded by... Well, there was...
Famously, the first dictionary.
There was a Richard Mulcaster in the 16th century who came up with the name football, in fact, and indeed invented refereeing and the idea of football teams. But he wrote Elementary in 1582. He was the first to gather all the words which we use in our English tongue out of all professions, as well learned as not, into one dictionary. But he didn't give definitions. He just listed all the words that he thought they existed. But in Robert Corddry's Table Alphabetical of 1604, not only listed words, but gave definitions, so it was perhaps the first true dictionary in the sense that we know it. It listed around 3,000 hard words, as he called them, defining each one. So then Johnson's dictionary had how many entries? Around the time there were about 250,000 or 300,000 words. How many did he list?
42.
So, you were so close, 42,000. That was really close. 42,773. But we've got some Johnson words that have gone out of use, and maybe you can mention what they mean. Tongue pad.
Mouth friend.
Mouth friend. Don't we all need a mouth friend?
Sometimes we certainly do need a tongue pad and a mouth.
Sometimes I like a frigorific. I hear you go.
Frigorific.
Yeah. We've all been frigorific in our time. A double latte is, I think it's
coffee.
A single shot, isn't it?
You can get those in, just after.
It's depucelate.
Oh, that's what you do before a big date, isn't it? Yeah. If you're meeting a mouth friend.
Yeah. Yes.
You get a bit tongue pad. Slip to the old shapesmith.
Is a shapesmith just a rubbish blacksmith?
No, a shapesmith is basically what we...
I've done a thing. You've been to the shapesmith, yeah. Sort of looks like a doorknob.
Yeah, it's not a horse shoe, but it's sort of horse jewellery.
Like a horse clog.
nipple.
They found in Camden Market and sold all that crap.
No, a shapesmith is actually what we would call a personal trainer. It's someone who gets you into shape and improves the shape of your body. It's
Time
a
for that
shapesmith.
word to come back. I think.
Shapesmith, exactly.
I'm going to see my shapesmith.
My shapesmith.
A tongue pad. I hate that.
A tongue pad is just a great talker who just gives someone who just natters all the time. A mouth friend is... No, someone who is a friend to your face but is duplicitous behind your back. It's just,
God, I know a few of those.
Yeah, a few mouth friends. Pretends to be your friend. To depucillate is to deflower, to bereave of virginity.
It's not a bereave.
To pluck the
Let's not see it as that. Frigorific sounds like something Del Boy might say, but what is it?
Actually, I suppose we would... It's probably rather badly spelled. We should pronounce it, yes, cold. Should pronounce it frigorific, probably. It just means causing cold. Something it's frigorific. Causes cold. So, some of his definitions were just a little bit lazy. Sock. Something put between the foot and the shoe.
He must have thought, though, because, you know, previously the one before you say had been just of hard words. He must have just thought, look, everyone knows what a sock is.
If you can read, you'll know what a sock is.
Yeah, if you've got this book and you don't know what a sock is, then I can't help you.
Exactly. Oates was a famous one.
Well, yes, he said horrible things about the Scots in his one on oats, didn't he?
He did. He said a grain which in England is generally given to horses, but in Scotland supports the people. He describes the worm to deprive a dog of something, nobody knows what, under his tongue, which is said to prevent him, nobody knows why, from running mad. It's just a very strange...
Wasn't a scientist, then?
No, I think probably not. He was one of our greatest men of letters. I'm having a senior moment. The famous volcano near Java that gave...
Krakatoa.
Krakatoa. What's the name of the movie? Krakatoa.
East of Java.
East of Java, yes. And oddly enough, it's actually west of Java.
Oh, west of Java, yes.
It is an odd thing, but it was one of the first big cinerama kind of movies called Krakatoa East of Java. And it was just a bizarre lie, because it's Krakatoa west of Java. So some producer must have thought, I don't like the sound of west of Java.
It's not going to sell. It's not going to sell. What can we do? We can take it north,
East
south,
of Java.
east. It's going to be fantastic.
So within 10 years, tell me when this great, huge explosion.
1883.
1883?
1882.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers at home, brace yourselves.
Oh, hello.
The explosion, the great, enormous, gigantic eruption of Krakatoa, was in 1883.
I think
May I just say, WTF?
There was a documentary about it on the BBC and they reenacted it.
Well remembered, is it? I mean, it's not an easily... I mean, not particularly...
remember anything.
It was the loudest sound, apparently, that has ever existed, or at least as far as we know, certainly within human reckoning.
So 4 atomic bombs. It's sort of...
No, it was 13 times greater than the Hiroshima bomb. There was 5 cubic miles of rock was spewed into the air, and it was heard 3,000 miles away. You could actually hear it 3,000 miles away, and it... yes.
It sounded like in Australia.
it reverberated around the world, the ripples of it, 7 times. It was a most extraordinary...
And wasn't Krakatoa was like the first global event that sort of was the news of which spread around the world.
We can see behind us Harper's Weekly. It was a media event for the first time. The island and volcano of Krakatoa, Strait of Sunda, submerged during the late eruption.
Yes.
When eventually a human party of people arrived at the site, they found one living creature, and I will give you 10 points if you can tell me the species.
Was it a spider that they
Yes!
found? It was a spider.
Absolutely marvellous. Everyone is on cracking form here. You really are doing superbly well.
What's the spider going? Oh, it's hot.
It was indeed. Using 2 legs at a time. Anyway.
Like this.
So it was doing the washing up?
Yes, it was.
I had an anxiety dream about coming on here. I was so terrified of it. And in the dream, I was sitting here, I think I was on the other side, and you were asking the question very sternly.
No.
Yes. The question was, why was the March hare so important to the Aztecs? And I didn't know the answer. And I said, did they worship it? And the screens went, worship it, worship it. Which was absolutely terrifying.
Stephen, ask the question, let's make it happen.
Yes, come on.
I'm such an amateur, I didn't even Google the answer.
That's an amazing dream.
It is a good dream.
That's very specific. You know, it's not like, I mean, I dream, I went up to the shops and bought some milk and some bread, and I wake up, I go, oh, where is it? And I thought, I'm sure I went up the shop and got it, but, that's a crazy dream. Must have been that blue cheese I had last night, but that...
Oh, yeah, really... Bill, definitely the blue cheese was the issue.
Yeah, OK, all right. Blue cheese. Were you actually asleep? Or was this a sort of a premonition?
Well, we'll find out.
Well, yes, we will.
Can we just confirm this is happening now, isn't it?
Yes.
We're not in one of Vicky's dreams, because that would be...
That would be brilliant, now, wouldn't it? You could be the March hare, I'll be the Aztecs. Bring it on.
Let's get some blue cheese.
Were you actually rather giving away your strategy? Anyway, why was the March hare so important to the Aztecs?
You see? Thing is, Victoria, whatever you dreamt was the answer is the right answer.
Yeah.
No, but I know the answer isn't, did they worship it? Because... I think you'll find I said that's not the answer.
Yeah.
What the answer actually is... I don't know, why is a raven like a writing desk? It's that sort of question.
It is that sort of
Maybe
question.
for years people will now debate this. 50 years from now, people will be asking, why was the March hare important to the Aztecs?
There is a kind of answer that maybe your subconscious somehow knew. They worshipped rabbits, not hares.
Yes.
So some part of your brain knew that Aztecs worshipped rabbits.
Honestly, Aztecs worship rabbits?
It's true.
I swear to you I didn't know that. That's
I swear, and I think people are going to believe me.
I'll go even further than this. There are many people who believe that the rabbits that the Aztecs worshipped were jackrabbits, which are, in fact, technically a type of hare.
And a J word, which makes...
And a J word. So, Victoria Corrin, burn the witch. You didn't see that one coming, and yet you did.
I dreamt a thing that I didn't think I knew that you say is nearly a fact beginning with J.
Yeah.
This world is far more mysterious than we give it credit for.
Isn't it just?